Good evening, everyone. My name is Sifaan, and I want to use this opportunity to share some thoughts with you. So, when we talk about the Sinhala and Tamil New Year, we usually call it the traditional New Year. And I think we use the term traditional to separate it from the fact that we have another New Year that is a contemporary New Year. So, in that sense, the New Year is on January 1st. So, the traditional New Year is an opportunity for us to connect with the traditions, to connect with the past, and that's part of the reason why we celebrate it. But what I want to share today is that there is a part of this tradition that we have actually lost, and that's what I'd like to talk about. See, when we say a new year, that means there is some counting of a year, counting of a month that is involved. That's how we can have a new year. So when we have January 1st being the new year, that's because we move from 2025 to 2026. December ends, January begins, the 1st is the new year. So in the Sinhala and Tamil New Year, can somebody tell me what is the year? We celebrated a new year, so then the count of the year should increment, right? So what is the year count? It's actually a lunisolar calendar, but now, for example, if we take another traditional new year that we have, there is also a Muslim calendar in Sri Lanka. Anybody knows when is the new year according to the Islamic calendar? Okay, in the Gregorian calendar that everybody understands, when does that fall? But this year? June 16th, I think, right? Yeah. So I think non-Muslims wouldn't really know this because there is no big New Year celebration as such for that calendar turning. But there is a year count based on a certain starting date from when the Prophet fled from Mecca to Medina. So that's when the era starts. So then you keep incrementing that number for the Hijri year. So when there is a Sinhala and Tamil New Year, also there has to be a year counting from some era. There has to be a number. Right? So we celebrate the new year, but we don't know what the number is. No.
English calendar.
Mm-hmm.
The English calendar, 1st of April, and the 14th to the traditional calendar.
Okay, it's not so much about the date, but what is the year? Like in the Gregorian calendar, we say it's 2026, right? This says 2026. So even in the Sinhala and Tamil calendar, there has to be a number. So actually this number is, for this last Avurudu, this number is 1948. Because the origin date, the standardized date for this calendar, which is celebrated in many parts of South India as well, is in the conventional systems, 78. So that's when our numbering starts. So this year, so April 14th is 1948 in that Shaka era, and before that it was 1947. But we don't have a sense of this count because it's not important anymore. We go with the Gregorian. But even more interesting, calendars also have months. So who can tell me what is the Sinhala month we are in right now? No. Yes, it's actually, we are now in the Sinhala month of Vesak. And a lot of people have this understanding that, okay, what's the name for January in Sinhalese? Durutu. Okay, February? Okay, but this is not quite correct. So usually the month of Durutu is going to be around the time of January. Navam is going to be around the time of February, but it doesn't synchronize with the Gregorian calendar. The reason is, in the past, when people tried to measure time, now when we agree that this event is happening on 26th of April, if we don't have a shared understanding of that, we'll all be coming here on different dates. So we needed to have a way of measuring time. And one of the easiest things to do that was the phases of the moon. So every time there's a new moon, we know it's a new month. So the Chinese calendar, the Islamic calendar, and the Sinhala and Tamil calendar, the month starts on the new moon. And the Poya day happens in the middle of the month, and the next month starts on the next new moon. So right now, Actually, on I think 17th April, the Vesak month started, and then Vesak Poya happens to be on the 1st of May. Then Poson should start in the middle of May, but actually, if you have looked at the calendars, there is a Adi Poson holiday in May. And then the Poson Poya is actually going to be in June. So why is this Adi Poya coming in? Why do we sometimes have these Adi Poyas? Lunar cycle goes on average 29 and a half days. So then a month will be the 29 days or 30 days. But how do we decide when to have an Adipoya? So last time was somewhere in, I think, 2023 or so. And then 2020. So from time to time, these Adipoyas come. Where do these come from? But why do some full moons become the Adipoya and some full moons are just regular Poya? Right. So there is actually a challenge that comes when you try to use the sun and the moon to tell time. So the moon cycles are fairly easy. Every time you see a new moon, it's a new month. And that's going to be 29 or 30 days. And then the year, we can calculate it with the astrological signs or the weather. That's also going to be some period. But 12 months doesn't exactly make a year. And this is why the Islamic calendar is short by 11 days, because it just allows it to drift. It's a purely lunar calendar. But if you want to have your new year at the same time every year, like we have April 14th is the time we have, then you need to make some adjustments, which is a system called intercalation. So there is a calculation which I will not go into here, but if anybody wants to know, I can share it with you later, that decides which month becomes a Adipoya and which month is not. And if you go back to 2018, you will actually find that Vesak Poya in that year was in the month of April, not in May. Right? And this is because our traditional calendar was based on the moon. And the Gregorian calendar is not based on the moon. It's just based on a strict numbering sequence, and it doesn't coincide with the moon. So sometimes we will have Durutu is more or less coinciding with January, but it will not exactly coincide. So one way to think of it is whenever you have the Poya day, that is the middle of the month. So we said it was, somebody said that this is the Vesak month, right? So which day in Vesak is it? Like, is it the 1st of Vesak, the 5th of Vesak? How is it? Any ideas? No. Okay. So in the Gregorian system, we just count the months from 1 to 30 or 1 to 31, whatever the number, right? In our traditional month, we actually calculate it as the phases of the waxing moon and the waning moon. So the month has two halves. So right now, today is actually the 10th day of the waning moon in the month of Vesak. And then from the Vesak Poya day, then we'll be counting days of the, this is the 10th day of the waxing moon. No, sorry, what am I saying? Yeah, 10th day of the waxing moon, because the moon is getting bigger. And from Vesak Poya day, we again start counting first day, second day, third day of the waning moon down till Vesak ends. Then Adi Poson will start, Poson ends. So part of this new year is actually coming from a particular calendar that even though we celebrate the new year, we have forgotten where the calendar is. So I just wanted to provoke you to go and read more, learn more about how this calendar works. Thank you.